Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome you to the regular session of the Milwaukee Planning Commission. Agendas and additional copies of staff reports are available on the city website at www.milwaukeeoregon.gov. The easiest way to locate them is to navigate to the community calendar where tonight's meeting page is posted. If you've not reviewed the agenda, please do so. It contains important information about the process that we follow. If you wish to provide public comment, please log into the Zoom meeting or call into the meeting. Instructions for logging in or calling in are located on the meeting page on the city's website in order to be included in the meeting record. Public comments must be received during the applicable portion of the meeting. That is, general comments must be made during the open audience participation of the meeting. Since we have no land use applications, there's no specific public hearings that will be commented on, but we will offer the public a chance to speak in general terms tonight. So next on the agenda item is the approval of the minutes from the June 23rd and August 11th meeting. I'll ask the commissioners if anyone has corrections to make to the June 23rd meeting minutes.
No.
Okay, I hear no. I'm sorry, did I hear someone say this?
I also said no.
Okay, very good. So I didn't hear any comments about corrections to be made to the June 23rd meeting, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the notes as presented.
Make a motion to approve the notes as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I see a quorum approving the June 23rd meeting minutes, and now I will ask if there's anyone who has on the commission who has corrections to make to the August 11th meeting minutes.
I have a minor correction, if you'd be so kind to entertain it.
Go ahead to entertain it.
On page 3, regarding my remarks, I was hoping we could maybe add a statement, and the Planning Commission should look at variances and modifications as a place to deliver public benefits.
Okay. Any comments on that proposal? Any objections to that proposal? So I will entertain a motion to approve the notes as amended.
I would like to make a motion to approve the August 11th, 2020 minutes as amended.
Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of the meeting minutes of August 11th as amended, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So are there any information items from the staff at this point?
None at this time that we won't cover in the next section, I think.
Okay, we'll hold it open if there's other issues that need to be raised by the staff. At this point, I will entertain a request for audience participation. This is the opportunity to comment on items that are not on tonight's agenda, which is a little bit different from normal. These will be general comments. Vera, do we have anyone who wants to make any general comments from the public at this point?
Chair Massey, I don't see anyone in the attendees waiting room, so we don't have anyone else here at the meeting. So, and I don't recall receiving any emails into the planning inbox or anything today that would indicate that someone had some comments for tonight. So
that's exactly what I expected. Thank you for that confirmation, Vera. The next agenda item is a welcome and introduction discussion with the Planning Commission and city staff. First, please join me in welcoming the newest city staff, Assistant Planner Janine Gates and Planning Manager Laura Weigel. At this point, I would like to turn the meeting over to Layla from the city staff to talk about this little bit of a change in the meeting format that we have tonight. We've had, 2 new city planning staff members arrive recently. Most importantly, the new city planning manager. and we've had a good bit of change in the Planning Commission as well, and especially since we don't have those sort of informal opportunities for discussion at City Hall with the Zoom protocol that we're following. I thought Layla and I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of get to know each other a bit. So Layla, I will give you the floor at this point.
Well, thank you, Chair Massey, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. As the chair mentioned, we discussed having this meeting tonight as an opportunity for both staff, newer staff, to get to know newer planning commissioners as well. So this is an important time. We onboarded, in the process of onboarding, a new planning manager. We have a new assistant planner. We've had a promotion within our division as well. And so we thought this was a good opportunity for us as a team to get together and to meet each other and get to know each other a little better, but also I think it's a really unique and good opportunity for the public, for those that want to tune in via our YouTube page. We'll have a chance to hear about who we are, what our role is in the city, and as either a commissioner or as a staff person, because a lot of what we do is engaging with the public and being, I would say we're one of the more public entities as part of our city staff. And so what better time really than to offer both ourselves and our community members an opportunity to get to know us better. So that's kind of the goal for tonight. And I would propose, if I may, just sort of an elevator pitch, I think is what I put out there. So if I could provide a little structure, I'll go ahead and model the first introduction, and then I'll go ahead and hand it back to Chair Massey, and he will go ahead and call on folks and just ask that everyone take a moment to share a bit of information about who you are. So I think first let's start with, and both commissioners and staff, is who you are, your name, your particulars. Feel free to share what you're comfortable with that you think is relevant and important for both us to know as a team, as well as our folks in the community. So it could be your occupation, how long you've lived in Milwaukee. I think whatever you're comfortable with sharing with the community. How long have you been on the Planning Commission? There's a few familiar faces to me here, and there's some unfamiliar faces. So I look forward to getting to know the unfamiliar faces here. And for those that are new to the city and those that have been at the city, I ask you to stay the same. I think for our planning commissioners, be curious to learn more about why you joined the Planning Commission, or if there's something you'd like to share just generally about what inspired you to this service, because you do provide a really essential and important service to the community. And just for folks out there that are watching, understand there's that we are the team that really, I think, are involved in all of the development that happens in this city. Every development application comes through the planning department, and then many of those end up rising up to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission provides guidance and recommendations to our city council from everything from the comprehensive plan to a type 3 land use review. So it'd be helpful, I think, for folks to hear what inspired you to service. And then I think for city staff, you're welcome to, if you would like to talk about what brought you to the city of Milwaukee. And then I think finally, is there a key issue or goal that you have that you want to talk about as well? That could be tied into why you joined the Planning Commission. So don't feel like you have to stick to this list. And then if you have any words of wisdom for our new planning manager that you would like to offer, I'm sure that she and I would both welcome that, because some of you have been here for some time and probably could offer a little bit of wisdom for all of us as we move forward. So with that, I think just a quick list of that is: who are you? How long have you been here? Why did you join? And kind of what is the key thing you're interested in? So if I may, Chair, I will start, and then I will hand it back to you to call upon other folks to share the same. So I'm Layla Aman, and I am the Community Development Director. And so in my position, I oversee the Community Development Division, which includes 2 staff people in addition to myself. I have a Development Project Manager and then a Housing Coordinator. I also oversee the Building Department. So that includes the building official, and then we have 2 staff, a permit tech and a plan review analyst. And then the planning division. So I oversee the planning department, and we'll meet all of those folks today. So I have a planning manager and then 4 staff as well. And so that's what constitutes a community development division, a department. My background is in urban redevelopment primarily. I spent the majority of my career in public service. So I've done some private consulting with Fregonetti Associates for a number of years, and I was a partner there. But I also worked at Metro, our regional government, in a transit-oriented development program, and did a lot of joint development work as well as strategic planning, primarily around station areas and historic and distressed downtowns. Did that for a number of years, and then I also spent a few years at the Portland Development Commission, which is now Prosper Portland, managing the Lentz Urban Renewal District before coming to Milwaukee. So on to the next question is, I've been here now 3 years, just over 3 years. I've been in the role of director for about 14 months. And prior to that, I came to Milwaukee as the development manager. So I was brought in to oversee any of the joint development or development related work related to the city. So some of you may remember me from bringing the library project through. So I project managed that through final design and through construction. And I also worked on the Coho Point development project. So I negotiated the disposition and development agreement. Allison Wicks, who's my development project manager, will be taking a lead role on that at this point, but you'll be seeing me as part of that project as well. So that's what brought me to the city. Was really, I was really excited about the work that the city was doing around climate, housing, and I have a passion for small downtowns, and so that was really the inspiration that brought me here. What keeps me here is frankly the work, and I'm not going to steal the thunder of the other staff, because all the projects that they're going to talk about are things I'm extremely passionate about. But I am excited to see in terms of what we do with our housing code work, how we advance the implementation of the comp plan are really big and exciting things for this department that touch everything in our city. So I'll let staff talk a little bit more about those things. And I look forward to supporting them as we get through a successful implementation of what I think is a really dynamite, comprehensive plan. And so with that, I will hand it over to the chair. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Layla. So I know no one
Do
wants
we get a chance for follow-up questions?
Please do. We're always welcome to, we're always encourage cross-examination.
Layla, where is your office located in normal days?
A great question. Our office is located at the Johnson Creek building. So that's 6101 Southeast Johnson Creek Boulevard until about the summer of 2023, when we'll all be together in our new city hall in downtown. But till then, we are in Johnson Creek. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions for Layla? Okay, so I know that it's always awkward to be the first one on the dance floor, so we appreciate Layla leading off the dance part of the program, and I'll go next and allow the commissioners to follow, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So at any rate, my name is Robert Massey. I've been on the commission for about 1.5 years and currently serving as the chair. That's my dog barking at someone going down the sidewalk. So at any rate, I was attracted to the Planning Commission because I think that land use decisions are often the most important that a city has to make. You know, we're not making any more land, so we have to get it right. And so I'm sort of passionate about the collectively us coming up with sustainable solutions for things like affordable housing, economic development, environmental protection. So that's what brought me to the Planning Commission. On the professional side, I was a naval officer for my first career, and I've had a couple of careers. I moved 13 times in 26 years, so I had a wide range of assignments, everything from the Pentagon to captain of 2 ships. And most recently, I left behind my second career, which was in the corporate world, because I wanted to tackle my rather lengthy bucket list. But I am very happy to be a permanent resident of Milwaukee for the last 5 years, and I was attracted to Milwaukee because it's a very strong sense of civic engagement and community involvement. So I'm enjoying myself. In the oh, by the way category, I'm an Oregon State Extension Service Master Gardener, where I volunteer on their outreach activities. So that's a little bit about me. And just so the commissioners know, I will next ask Greg to get into the batter's box, followed by Joseph, Laura, Amy, Adam, and Jacob.
Oh man, do I get a pass?
If you'd like to cross-examine me, I'm certainly willing to do so.
No, you didn't list me, so I just wanted to make sure. Am I getting a pass?
No, you're between Joseph and Amy. I'm sorry if I'm sorry. Did I leave you off? I am sorry.
That's okay.
It's Lauren. I wrote Laura instead of Lauren. I had Laura on the map.
Wouldn't be the first time
Please,
in my life.
please accept my apology. Lauren. Yeah.
That is all right. I'm happy to know how to properly pronounce your last name, because I can tell that we have some doozies on this list. We're all going to need to know how to pronounce each other's names appropriately. Before Commissioner Hemner starts, Hemner, see?
Yeah.
Are we going to invoke a timer? Or we have like a...
I will give you the hook if you go too long.
So I will address No. I will address that. I am known as long-winded. That is my reputation. What it is that I am very resourceful with words and magical and colorful and very deep meaning. So, so to be able to prepare for this, I pulled out my volume of The Life of Greg Hemmer, volume number 7. This is volume number 7 of my book. And Planning Commission from June 3rd, 2014 to present, written by Gore Vidal as a historian, writer, and a long thing. So I know Lauren doesn't like to go past 10 o'clock, so I will begin and read fast for everybody here. Just kidding, of course. So I started off my happy days here at Milwaukee 23 years ago now. I actually moved across the street from David Aschenbrenner, who got me kind of started in this whole deal. And I first started off with the Citizens Advisory Committee with the light rail. Actually, it started off with downtown parking, and then I got involved with the Citizens Action Committee of the light rail. So, and that started in 2000, I don't know, 12, or it seems like forever ago now. But I'm on the board of the Milwaukee Environmental Stewards Group. We banned the plastic bag here in Milwaukee before it became state law, and we are currently running a styrofoam recycling project over there at Exceed Enterprise. So bring by your styrofoam, don't take it down to Tigard, save yourself some gas and save some carbon emissions. I am also a member of the Clackamas County Historical Council, where we work together with all museums and historical sites in Clackamas on basically advertising and programming. I am a strong believer in our NDAs, and I am very active in my neighborhood, Linwood NDA. My wife and I own our own business. It's called Hemmer's Helping Hands. We do cleaning services. And let's see, I'm also the Vice President and Communications Director of the Milwaukee Historical Society. We are the owners and operators of the Milwaukee Museum, currently closed because of COVID. But yes, it's that little house that you've been driving by all of your life and always been afraid to walk into it. It is actually very pleasant, trust me. And not to brag, but I was 2018 Volunteer of the Year for the city of Milwaukee. So I've been around a long time. Now, I am so old on this planning commission that I was appointed by Jeremy Ferguson. Some of you may not know that that was our former mayor before Mayor Gamba got appointed and then elected to that position. Oh, Wilda got appointed and then Gamba got elected. So I've been around for a long, long time on this planning commission. I still have 2 more years left to go, to the dismay of my wife. And the reason why I joined is I really believe in community. My libertarian friends will make fun of me because they say that is a communist word, community is. But it is actually really the truth of it all is that, look, we're all in this in the same boat together. We all need to get along. We all need to realize that our ultimate goal is making Milwaukee the best that it is. And I believe that my position on the Planning Commission is to listen to all of everything that comes in front of us, listen to the residents that have concerns, and make decisions that are viable for them and for the city as well. How long was that, Lauren?
It was nothing. Is this an intermission?
No, that's it. That's all I had. If you want me to talk more, I will. I'm full of all sorts of hot air.
We have no fun on this planning commission, by the way. Can I give a kudos? Greg is one of the people who on the planning commission, he'll always be the one to recognize the value of our public, our members of the public who spend their evenings sometimes sitting through very long, drawn-out meetings. And I always appreciate that you do that, Commissioner Heemner, because it's important that they know they are the reasons we are here. And you're always the first one to recognize the public when they make that effort. And I appreciate that you do that.
There's a lot of love out there, Commissioner Heemer. Yeah.
It's all fake, but that's okay. I'll take it anyways.
Yeah, it is not.
I think it's from the heart.
And you know, my wife is watching this, so she knows I'm going to get a big head. So she's going to be mad at you all. She's going to have to listen to it for the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, that's your problem. Okay. So, Commissioner Edge.
Hi, my name is Joseph Edge, and during the day, I am a software engineer, and in the evenings, I spend my free time volunteering for a variety of commissions and committees. I'm on I'm the vice chair of the McLaughlin Area Plan implementation team, which is the city area south of the city of Milwaukee along the McLaughlin Boulevard corridor, which includes the Oak Grove Community Council, of which I am chair. It's the equivalent of an NDA for the unincorporated Clackamas County area. And I'm also the chair of the board of directors of the North Clackamas Watersheds Council, which has its headquarters in Milwaukee and also is the Watersheds Council for the entire North Clackamas urban area. And I'm on the Clackamas County Pedestrian Bikeway Advisory Committee. And I'm sure there's other things that I do that I'm not mentioning right now, but those are the highlights of the things I do in my free time. I'm really interested in the intersection of land use and transportation policy and have been for decades at this point, and have been an unofficial student of land use policy since the mid-90s, since the Region 2040 plan was first put out by Metro. And the reason that I joined the Planning Commission was because I was really inspired by the vision statement that the community, that the city of Milwaukee's residents came up with in 2017, which I participated in as a member of the board of the Watersheds Council. And was, again, I was really inspired by that, and in discussions with, found out that the opportunity to be on the Planning Commission was available. And so I joined specifically to help the city implement its comprehensive plan and make it the best it could be in terms of the vision that was expressed by the residents. And it's been a really exciting process. I'm really proud of the comprehensive plan that we adopted just last month. And I'm really happy and proud to represent this Planning Commission on the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee. And looking forward to doing the hard work of helping produce code that reflects the spirit of the comprehensive plan and the vision statement that inspired me to serve this city. And the follow-up is I grew up in the Oak Grove area and actually went to school at Milwaukee Junior High in 1990 through 92, when it was, which is now the Waldorf school. And so I've been tied to the city, even though I've lived just outside of it for most of that time. I've been tied to the city my entire life.
Commissioner Edge, I'm out of breath just listening to all those volunteer activities you're in. Wow, that's impressive. Lauren, would you like to follow up?
Sure, that's tough act to follow.
Yeah.
I've been a resident of Milwaukee for about 8 years. I moved here because I loved the energy that was happening in Milwaukee. It's kind of a palatable feeling, I think, in our community, and I wanted to be a part of it. I joined and moved as close as I could to the light rail because I was so excited about it coming. I live, by the way, just outside of Island Station, MDA. In my day job, I am an architect. I guess technically my third career, if we're counting. I've also been an interior designer, and then became a sustainable building advisor when I moved to Portland. So it was a natural move for me to become an architect. I love what I do, and most of what I love about my job is focusing on issues related to sustainability. So I'm a lead in our office for sustainability, and driving policies and design process changes that we make internally to make sure that we are being as sustainable as we can and helping our clients achieve their goals. I was approached by one of my neighbors to become part of the Design and Landmarks Committee with Brett. Hey, Brett. So I did that. I was chair and vice chair for about 3 years total, I think. We worked together on the design, downtown design guidelines, which took the better part of those 3 years, and it is, still working its way through. And then Mayor Gamba actually contacted me and asked me to fill an open planning commission seat, and I accepted that. It's a pretty big scale jump for me as an architect. I like to focus on a building or a block. So that's one of the challenges that I kind of enjoy about this work. I've been volunteering as long as I can remember. I don't really remember a time in my life when I wasn't volunteering in some way. And during my professional career, it's always been specific to the association that was directly connected to my professional work. And probably 3 or 4 years ago, I just decided that I needed to be more directly connected to my community because I believe how powerful these kind of committees can be in driving change and positive change. So I found an opportunity with the Design and Landmarks Committee. My key issues or goals are related to sustainability, but also related to affordable housing and housing the houseless, I think is a very important issue that projects out to a number of other kind of societal issues that we all experience in some form or another. I would say words of wisdom. When the opportunity arises to extend the meeting past 10 o'clock, do not extend the meeting. There's no reason you need to extend the meeting, and don't let them bully you into it. That's my closing comment. Oh, and by the way, it's Lowe's-felt, not loose-felt, as long as we're talking about pronunciation.
Thank you. Amy, would you like to chime in?
Okay, you guys can hear me. So I'm Amy Ert. My last name is Ert with a silent D, but I don't care. You guys can pronounce it or Ert. I'm used to all of it. Let's see, I was an accounts receivable analyst for 5 years for a surgeon, and then worked for 10 years in emotional and behavioral health. I grew up in Clackamas County, not too far away, and spent 10 years in kind of moving around from Washington State to California. And then 2012 or 13, my husband and I decided to move back from California, from the desert and Palm Springs area, and buy a house, or well, we rented at first here in Milwaukee, but we chose Milwaukee because it's just so centrally located. Like if you just are moving from out of state, it's really a great place. And then also, you know, growing up in Clackamas, I asked my dad and he's like, Milwaukee's the best. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, my mom went to Milwaukee High School, so just lots of ties here. And I love this community because, as I'm going to echo what a lot of people have kind of already said and probably know, but we just have so many very, very passionate citizens here, or people, you know, me too, all of us. Just so many very, very caring and engaged and passionate community members. So, so that's what I've been doing. And then I do a lot of online, like user experience design, and a lot of work online. It's kind of in an architect area a little, but it's more just only online. So, and then I'm very, very active, obviously, on social media and online. And so I'm engaged and connected to a lot of community members, which can be challenging sometimes to navigate. And I'm new here on the commission relatively. And so I'm still getting my bearings, and I'm still, you know, navigating how do I balance the communication that I have with, you know, thousands, with a lot of community members, with also kind of now this new role. And the reason that I was drawn to the Planning Commission is because it's all about the future and the past, because you really do have to learn from, I think, all of the things that have been done, and then plan, you know, for what you see the future to be. And so, so I've just been drawn a lot to, you know, why things have been planned the way that they were, and, you know, what we can do in the future. And actually, when my husband and I first moved here, in like, I think it was like 2013, we were watching, we hadn't had the cable hooked up, and I got addicted to watching the Planning Commission on whatever it was, you know, it was like a channel or something that you got for free. And so that was during the actually when they were putting the public transportation, when they were putting the Max line in, and they were going to like remove a tree, and like it was a very like intense time. And so I really got interested in watching the Planning Commission show. And then, you know, years later, it's just now I think about transportation's a big one, parking, and then also the future of, you know, self-driving or automated kind of rideshare cars, and how much are we going to need for parking, you know, all just thinking about all those different things. And then more recently with the fires, you know, I think about the trees and like what types of trees are we planting, and how much of you know, how fast do they burn in neighborhoods if we're dealing with this in the future. So all of those things do really interest me. I need to brush up on code and really you know, kind of get my bearings more on the commission here on how things are run and operate. But other than that, I'm happy to be here. And did I cover everything? I don't know. Okay, good. That's fine.
May I pay Commissioner Ertz a huge compliment. So for those of you who don't know, she runs the Milwaukee Chit Chat group on Facebook, which is a great thing to have. It's very helpful to a lot of people, very well managed, very well respectful.
Thank you.
She sent out an excellent note.
Can you explain? I have no idea. What is it?
So it's a Facebook community group that was started about 5-6 years ago or so, and I took it over adminning it when it was about 300 members, and now we're up to about almost 7,000 members, community members, primarily that live here in Milwaukee. We could be at 20, 30,000, 20 something thousand, similar to how Oregon City has a community group that's there and can be. However, we've been really intentional on the admin team about screening members and having, making sure that they live here and that they're on board, because communication is a big part, because we're now in the new frontier on online communication with mass communication. And so really communication and effective communication is really where we lean heavily on. And actually Facebook recognized our little Milwaukee Chit Chat community group and here in Milwaukee, and flew our admin team out to headquarters in 2019. And we were one of about 10 other neighborhood community groups in all of North America that was chosen to do that. And only about 300 people, 400 people, and maybe just a couple hundred of either groups or pages or organizations that used Facebook were selected out of, millions and billions of groups and pages and on Facebook on all of North America. So just a few hundred of us were flown out, and Milwaukee was one of 10 neighborhood community groups on Facebook that was selected. And part of the reason for that is because we have just so many passionate community members. So we have a really engaged online community, and it can get really challenging at times, and I make mistakes. I mean, I'm sure we all here have done, not said things perfectly, but we really try, and we try for like open communication and transparency as much as possible. But yeah, it does get a little awkward because I'm in communication with thousands of community members that also have direct messaging to my inbox and tagging, and so I'm navigating a lot of people often.
So I want to give my compliment to you, not only for how well Milwaukee Chit Chat has done, but you sent out an empathy message. And you sent it out to the group, and this was during the wildfires. And you basically explained what empathy is and how not to respond, or what empathy is not. And I got to tell you something that really touched my heart. And I really want to thank you, because very few people understand what empathy really is. And you really did a really good job of explaining that. So thank you very much.
Thanks. I don't actually, I have to tell you that message might have come from our admin team, because I don't remember writing, but we write a lot. And so, but we have a really wonderful admin team. So I appreciate the compliment, and I'll pass it along. And I'll take it too, because we do write a lot about empathy and compassion and communication. And yeah, because that's a lot of, it's a lot to navigate. Well, we all have been, we've all, Portland Metro and Milwaukee specifically, has been navigating a lot. And when we touched on the unhoused and homeless situation and housing situation, we've been dealing with this for, almost 11 years, because we didn't really get much of a break after the Great Recession. So, so we're still navigating it. But thank you. I don't know who's up next.
Chair Massey, you're muted.
You're right. Adam's up.
Okay, hello. My name is Adam Kosrabadi, and I actually just recently joined the Planning Commission. I was appointed back in August. I currently work at Portland State University. I am a football coach there. I actually coach our outside linebackers. Chair Massey, I appreciate your service. Thank you, sir. I actually served as well in the United States Marine Corps in the infantry, and served overseas in Iraq in 2004. So I appreciate your service, sir. I joined the Planning Commission primarily because my wife and I actually recently moved here back in September of last year. We just bought a house, recently married as well, recently graduated from Portland State as well. And as a veteran, homelessness has been something that I've been passionate about in terms of homeless vets and obviously homelessness in general. And I think the Planning Commission plays a key role in affordable housing because we deal with so many new developments, primarily housing developments. Also, the economic development as well is another reason why I joined. I also have a small business. I own a food cart as well that used to be here in Milwaukee. And that's another reason why I joined the Planning Commission, because I know that it also plays a role in the economic development of our city. And I'm somebody that's very passionate about listening and hearing people out, primarily in our community and our public. I'm part of our Linwood NDA. And just in the short time that I've been here, I've been trying to learn as much as I can about this city and about how our government works and how we function. I also am part of the Veteran Advisory Council for Clackamas County. So I do work with that. And I served, before this, I served as the Linwood NDA rep for PSAC. I had to give up PSAC to do the Planning Commission though. So that's why I transferred over. Yeah, that's really in a nutshell why I joined. I think the Planning Commission plays a huge role in the city, also in the climate change aspect. And I don't have any words of wisdom because I just really got here. So I'm 2 ears, 1 mouth. I'm here to listen and I'm here to learn. So listening to the public is going to be key, and also listening to the members who have been here the longest and have spent the most time in the city is going to be key for me to making the right decisions for our community moving forward.
Yeah, good words, Adam. I never learned anything by talking, so thank you for those words of wisdom. Jacob, you're up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob Sherman. Really excited to be here on the Planning Commission with you. My professional background spans kind of local government, academia, and nonprofits, specifically kind of working on policy, program innovation, program management, and strategic partnerships. I'm currently working for the city of Portland. To Commissioner Ert, your point on emerging technology in the transportation system. So have worked on state policy around autonomous vehicles. The person you get to call and complain to in the city of Portland about scooters, and a variety of other topics kind of in emerging technology and transportation. Like others, I'm a relatively new appointee to the Planning Commission. Been here since August, and really excited to be here. I've been kind of recruited by a former Planning Commissioner, Kim Travis, after we worked together professionally on a project, and she found out that I'd moved here to Milwaukee, but the time just wasn't right a few years ago, just where things were with our family. We've lived in Milwaukee for the last 2.5 years. But I'm also a 5th generation Portlander, former Portlander, and really excited to be in Milwaukee. We actually, my family and I, we tried to buy our first house here in Milwaukee in 2010 at the bottom of the recession, and we had a bank that would not respond to our offers. And so that just never ended up happening. And we're really excited to kind of land, but a few blocks away from where we really wanted to be. I'm really interested in the Planning Commission because I think working in local government and previously serving as a community advocate on issues, just recognize kind of the power of this body. As you could probably surmise from my amendment to the notes, you know, the Planning Commission, I think we have a lot of opportunity in the variances we're granting, the parking modifications, the legislative decisions we're helping inform to really, as Commissioner Edge said, take that vision that our community has charted and make sure that we're actually moving towards that. And I'm really excited to be a part of this body to help us hold ourselves accountable to that vision. I think some of the key issues I'm interested in are kind of sustainability broadly, and look forward to working with everybody. Fun fact, as others were talking, I'm not a planner, and so I'll say that, but I've worked a lot with planners. And yet a fun thing is I totally remember like geeking out on SimCity, listening to Alanis Morissette in like 1994 on my computer as like getting AOL discs in the mail. So I've always kind of had an affinity for the cities and the future of cities, and really excited to be working with you all on the future of this great place that we all call home.
Thank you, Jacob. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to the other city staff for introductions. And I'm going to ask Laura to lead it off. And since we're on the theme of last name pronunciations, we're going to let you do that for us to start.
Right. Okay. So I'm Laura Weigel. Weigel. That's it. Just remember the Y part. That'll make it easy for you, right? And if you call me and it's Laura, some people call me other versions of Laura too, but just Laura Weigel, I'll answer to pretty much whatever you call me. It's okay. So I have just started, 10 days ago at this point, 7 days ago. And before that, I was working for the city of Hillsborough, which is a completely different kind of group of people. And I just want to say, first of all, listening to you all talk, I am just so impressed with everybody on this planning commission. It seems like we have just this powerhouse here that can really accomplish amazing things. I'm blown away by the commitment and all of the work and all the experience that you all are bringing to this planning commission. I feel like this is just a great opportunity and a great time to be able to work together. I feel like you all have a lot of energy, and I feel like the city has a lot of energy, and I feel like we have a really solid staff here now, or not that we didn't before, but I feel like this is a real moment in time that we're going to be able to accomplish a lot of things together, and I'm really excited about that. So yay, I'm really happy to meet all of you. I was out in Hillsborough for 6 years as a long-range planning manager, and I updated the comprehensive plan there, and also worked on the transportation system plan, and also did some big area plans, concept planning as well. And then prior to that, I worked for the city of Lake Oswego for 6 years, and I also worked on the comprehensive plan there and the transportation system plan. And I feel like I've been really privileged to get to work on comprehensive plans, because as a long-range planner, that's really the document that really sets the tone and the vision for how the city wants to grow and develop over years. And you get to build all of these relationships with the community because they are bringing their dreams and visions to their own community. And then you get to work with staff, and you just get to bring everybody together to create this document that I think most people can really stand behind, and it gives you a real vision for what you want to be. And as a planner, to me, that's kind of what's driven my desire to be a planner, is to think about cities over the long term and building relationships and figuring out how to get things done, the things that we've decided collectively that are important to us, and how can we best do that collectively and make that happen. So I love comprehensive planning, and I feel really honored to be here at the time when you get to work through those details of like what happens when you have those big goals and policies, and how does that get translated down on the ground. And I think this is a really great opportunity to think about the community and also the city council goals. One of the things that I've also, I think I was lucky enough, one of the reasons that I was drawn to Milwaukee is because over the last several years, I've been in the same room as Mayor Gamba on a lot of policy committees, and I've just seen the energy that he brings about Milwaukee and about what Milwaukee is doing. And I really sensed a lot of passion there, both from him and from just kind of him bringing that city council view to a metro regional level. And I see Milwaukee at this point being a kind of a leader in that realm. And I think that's amazing. And I really can't wait to be a part of that. I've always been really interested in what's been going on in Milwaukee. So when I heard that Denny, my former boss who raised me, basically was leaving, I kind of had my eye on his job for a long time, thinking, oh, Milwaukee's going to be a good fit for me. I think I'm going to like it there. So I was really excited when Denny decided to exit stage left and go kayaking, for the rest of his life, that I had this opportunity to be here. And then also just in Lake Oswego, I spent 3 years as a neighborhood planner. So I've spent a lot of time working with neighborhood associations, in your case, NDAs. And so building up that community and building those relationships is part of what I love doing the most. So I'm thrilled to be here. Yay. I'm so excited to work with you all, and I can't wait to get started. So thanks so much for having me here. And with that, I think what I want to do is kick it off to the rest of my team. And what
Can I ask you a question first?
Yes, of course.
Ms. Weigel?
Yes.
So you got to work with, did you get to work with Stephen Lashbrook?
Oh, yes, I did.
So, by the way, he's grown out his hair and he looks like a dirty hippie now, but he is part of the Llewellyn NDA and a very vocal person in here. So
I always knew he's a dirty hippie under that short haircut. He didn't hide it very well.
I've seen, yeah, right? And so he's still hanging around. So you still got friends here.
I'm
He's
thrilled.
the cleanest dirty hippie I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see Stefan again. I got to see him in a meeting the other night, and I was like, oh, hey, Stefan, it's so nice to see your face. He's a good guy. So with that, I think what I'll do is Janine, since she's the most recent person next to me, she's been here a whole 10 days longer than I have. So why don't I hand it off to you, Janine, to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janine Gates. I am a third-generation Portlander. I feel like when you see us, not that many of us, so when I see that person, I'm like, yay! As Laura said, I am our assistant planner, and I am starting week 4. And what brought me to the city of Milwaukee is, I want to say maybe 4 years ago, Layla and I served on a nonprofit board together, and she would talk about her job, and she said, I know that I probably shouldn't give you advice, but one piece of advice, I was going to grad school. I was going to start grad school at Portland State in the Masters of Urban and Regional Planning program. She said, you have to take a development class. And I just took that information. I was like, okay, I don't even know what development is, but whatever. I'll look into that. And I took a development class and did not think I would fall in love with development, and decided to get my certificate in real estate development. And then this June, I graduated with my master's in planning and didn't think that I would get a job working with development. So I was like, I got to continue with my master's in continue grad school and get my master's in real estate development so that I could be prepared to work in real estate. I really wanted to bring planning and real estate development together. I didn't see that happening in my studies, and I felt like we impact communities drastically, and we should be working together is how I felt. And so when this position came, I saw it online. I was like, I want to know more about the position. And so I contacted 2 people and asked about the job, and I found out it was exactly what I wanted. And I said, oh, this is a job for me and I have to have it. And so I'm very thankful that I am here, and I'm focusing a lot on development. And I have a love for small cities and the ability to be a Jill or jack of all trades. Maybe a master of none, but I'll know a little bit about everything. And a key issue, a goal of mine for the city is, I think I'm too soon to say a key goal of mine, but I think, like someone said, I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And my goal is to listen and understand how I can be the best servant for the residents of Milwaukee. So that is me. And Laura, do you want to pass it to someone? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. So I thought I would go to the next person who's been here the least amount of time, although at this point she's been here 4 years. So that would be you, Mary.
It doesn't feel like 4 years, though. It feels like it's been just maybe a year. Like I just graduated from grad school last week or something, but I guess it's been 4 years. Yes, so I am the other assistant planner now. I'm not only one. Now we've got 2, so that's kind of fun. But I graduated with the same degree as Laura and Janine. I don't think anyone else here has a MERP degree. But the master's in urban and regional planning at Portland State. So I got my master's degree there in 2016. And then right after grad school, I was lucky enough to get a job with the city of Milwaukee. So that's been great. I mainly I do a lot of different things, but I would say as an assistant planner, I assist a lot of people. And one being, I was one of the main assistants for the comprehensive plan update. Well, actually the Milwaukee Vision in 2016 to 2017, and then the comprehensive plan update. So I'm the last stronghold of the people that worked on those two projects here. So Vera, who's going to be spearheading the implementation process for the comp plan, I'll be assisting her in that. So luckily, we still have that knowledge base moving forward. But yeah, so that's going to be a lot of my work is assisting Vera. I also am assisting Brett with a transportation plan coming forward, and he can talk more about that as well. And then I do development review, and most of you have seen me before you a couple of times at least for different development projects that come before Planning Commission. And I still will continue to do that. And so you'll see me plenty more times as we move forward in the future. And I don't know what else I needed to say. I think that was it though. Layla says I'm good, so we're good.
Thank you, Mary. And so then we will move on to Vera, if you'd like to introduce yourself, although I think a lot of these people know who you are already.
Wow, thank you. For pronunciation purposes, because I have heard my last name pronounced several different ways, but it's Vera Coleus. That's the English way. We're not dragging people into the Czech way of saying my name, so it's just Coleus. I've been with the city 6.5 years now. I've been in Oregon for 7, moved out here from Massachusetts. I've been a professional planner in the public sector since 1997. 1998, I think it is. And in fact, speaking of Stephen Lashbrook, he was actually one of my planning professors in undergrad at Humboldt State. So when I knew I was coming out to Oregon, I called him immediately so that Stephen could explain to me the Oregon planning way, because it's nothing like they do it in Massachusetts, that's for sure. But I've been here, like I said, for 6.5 years. I worked mostly on current planning projects. So I've been before the Planning Commission many times for various development projects and development review. I've worked on some economic development projects because some of my time was spent over there as well, and a couple of sort of semi-long range planning projects. But the biggest part of my, or a big major chunk of my time right now will be on the comprehensive plan implementation project. So the first phase of bringing the comprehensive plan to life, so to speak, in our code, focusing on housing, parking, and tree code. And so we will be before all of you quite a bit, starting in work sessions. We'll be inviting you to all kinds of events, which you're all going to come to. It's going to be great because civic engagement and community engagement is a huge part of this project. So we will be looking to you folks, so I'm going to start saying it now, as the ambassadors for this project. And so for all of your networks, I'm looking at you, Commissioner there, to make sure that folks are available and ready to help us work on this project. So we want to get the word out. So I'll be kind of messaging with you folks as well to kind of make sure we get that going. So while all of that is happening, we do have some pretty large development projects on the horizon. End of October, we have a public hearing on the Waverly Woods plan development. So it's we don't do type 4 applications very often, but we will have this plan development application before us. So I'll be working with all of you on some of these bigger land use review projects as well. So I'm really happy that I'm able to still keep my feet in both long range planning and current planning. I like to do a lot of different things. I like being a Jack/Jill of all trades. I do like doing all of that. So it's been I'm really happy that I landed in Milwaukee. This was the size of community that I was looking for. I've worked for larger cities and regional planning agencies and a town of fewer than 10,000. So this is a really nice fit. I really like local planning. And so I've been having a great time here so far. So I'm really appreciative of the opportunities I've had to work on the projects here with really great commissioners and committee members and a terrific team. we have a killer planning team here, folks. So we have a great planning commission and we have a great set of planners. So I'm really excited about what we're going to be working on further. And I'm so happy that Janine and Laura are here to kind of round out our team. So I'm really stoked for what's coming this year. So thanks very much, everyone. Over to you, Laura.
Thanks, Vera. Now I'm all excited all over again. Okay, now I give it over to Brett, who's been here. He's the veteran of the planning department. It's impressive.
Yeah, my name is Brett Kelver. I was reflecting a little bit on what Chair Massey said about never learning much while you're talking, and just kind of laughing that I somehow seem to always catch myself trying to do that. So I'm going to reflect some more on that after I'm done here. I've enjoyed hearing everyone's background. I started with the city as an assistant planner in 2005, in August of 2005. So I just passed the 15-year milestone, and I never thought that I would be in Milwaukee this long. I moved out to Oregon in 1997 from Central Kentucky to go to the graduate program in community regional planning at the University of Oregon in Eugene. And through that experience, and after getting my master's there, I got to spend some time living in Eastern Oregon and Northeastern Oregon. And at some point decided that it might be nice to live in a little more populated area. So I ended up, kind of my first opportunity to start working in local government planning was in Milwaukee. And I thought it would be a stepping stone to other things. And I think what has held me here are, one of the main things is the people. We've had consistently really good teams of staff. Greg Hemer noted that he was recently the Volunteer of the Year. There are great volunteers in the city. We've had really good planning commissions. I think right now we have a especially unique and fine city council. So the people, it's interesting how I guess I didn't really anticipate that would have such an impact in a way, or make it so nice to stay in a community that, like Vera said, I think it's a really nice, manageable size. You can know a lot of who's who in the community, and although it does continue to change. So that's one of the things I really appreciate. Some of the things that I do right now, I focus a lot on current planning. So a lot of the land use applications that come in. I'm also currently the staff liaison to the DLC, or the Design Landmarks Committee. So I've met several of the current commissioners through that experience. And as Lauren noted, we have been working, the DLC is supposed to do a variety of things, but for the last several years, we've been working on trying to update the downtown design review, I think since 1974 or something. It feels like forever we've been working on it, and it's like generations of people who've passed through the DLC have known that as the main work that we're doing, but we are getting close. We're getting close to kind of wrapping that up. I've had the opportunity while I've been here. One of the other nice things about Milwaukee is because it is so relatively small, and we have I guess what I describe as a pretty flat department, where there's not a lot of hierarchy. We all tend to work on similar types of things. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to get experiences working on all different kinds of projects, different types of land use applications, and then also having chances to work on some of the long range things that come up. So there've been chances to be involved with updating our transportation system plan over time. I've had the opportunity to work on a couple of concept plans for neighborhood greenways, like the Monroe Street Greenway and 19th Avenue. Mary mentioned a project that she and I are working on together right now. It's the Central Milwaukee Bikeways project. So the idea is to kind of figure out how to safely connect the south end, I guess, more or less, of the 29th Avenue Greenway through the Murphy site in that part of Central Milwaukee to make a safe connection to the Monroe Street Greenway. So we're working on that right now as well. Yeah, one of the things that I think is important that I was thinking about as you all were talking is, we interface a lot with the public, obviously trying to answer questions and help people be well positioned to have a successful experience with their land use applications, and it's really helpful to have a good feel for the Planning Commission, to kind of know who's on the Planning Commission, what your tendencies and inclinations are in terms of how you consider things, the kinds of questions that you asked. And so, as noted, there are definitely some new faces on the Planning Commission. It'll be nice, I think, hopefully in short order, to get kind of a renewed sense of who you are and what your collective personality is like, as well as your individual personality, so that we can continue to do a good and consistent job of advising people about what their chances might be, or where they might want to tweak a few things with their application if they want to have a successful outcome. So appreciating getting the chance to learn more about you guys and be in a better position to advise folks about that. And also, looking forward to kind of solidifying our newly filled out team and kind of and get us all on the same page and moving in the same direction as well. I think one of the things we pride ourselves on, I think, is being able to give pretty consistent information to folks, so that there's not really any shopping for a particular planner that happens because if you catch this person, you'll get this kind of answer. We talk all the time about things to try to make sure we're giving the same kind of information and answers to folks. So with that, yeah, it's nice to be part of this larger team.
And with that, Chair Massey, I'll hand it back over to you.
Okay, that was very good. We appreciate the thumbnail sketch of all the staff, and we want to again extend a welcome to you and Janine. And
Do we get to hear from Justin?
Yes, I was just about to ask. I think he's not visually present, but we know you're here, Justin.
Is Justin here?
I think we should make Justin turn his camera on.
No, that's all right.
I'm not going to ask him to
I'm
do
Justin
that.
Gitt. I'm the city attorney. I've been with Milwaukee for 2 years now. Just last week, I think September 11th was my first day 2 years ago. I moved to Oregon in 1994 to go to law school at Lewis and Clark. And so for about 24 some odd years, I've practiced law in Oregon. At one point, I couldn't find it this afternoon when I found out we were doing this round robin thing. I made a list, and I think over those 24 years, in a variety of capacities, I have represented 38 or 40 some different forms of government in Oregon. Special districts, cities, counties, you name it. And so I find myself here at the city with a great group of people. I work pretty closely with staff on all of the applications that will come before you. I will help guide all of your various interests, biases, and things that you bring to the table that are wonderful. I will painstakingly try to guide you back to the applicable criteria and applying it to get to the right answer. Painstakingly. Did I say painstakingly? And it's never meant to cut anybody off. It's just what our job is. I have an open door policy. So if you have any questions for the new planning commissioners, if you have any questions about your role or the boundaries of your authority, please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. Staff already knows, and for the new staff present, I have an open door policy or open phone line policy with everybody. There's no dumb question, and I'll be the first to say I ask a lot of what could be called dumb questions. So please feel free to give me a call.
So is there any other people out there lurking that we should acknowledge?
Chair Massey, if I could give a piece of advice to Laura.
Of course.
So I used to, for those of you, I didn't mention this, but 20 years or so ago, I was the manager of Milwaukee Lumber, and that job lasted for about 15 years. That actually what brought me to Milwaukee. So there was a time when Milwaukee was going through a little bit of growth pains, and staff was not very appreciative of their customers that were walking in the door, let's just say. And so I heard a lot of complaints. And I will tell you something that ever since, it's almost when Brett kind of walked into the door and Katie kind of took over, and then Denny, and things changed. And I want to say that this staff understands what customer service is and works very well with the people that are walking in their door. And it is so appreciative of knowing that every time that you see an applicant that they're not mad right off the bat because they had confrontations with the planning department. So I want to give my kudos to all of them. And I see them out and about in the community. Mary grew up here. She was hanging out at our Linwood NDAs talking about how she lived right on over there. And so it's just great. And Laura, I want you to keep up the good tradition and let these folks do the wonderful job that they always do.
Thank you for the advice. Yes, I'll let them keep doing a wonderful job. That's what I'm here to let them do. And I completely believe in good customer service as well. It's, you know, from the very beginning of my career when I waited on tables all through college, I had this great manager, and he was still one of my favorite managers in my whole life because it was all about setting up people for success every single night to do the best that they could and to make their customers happy. And I've just taken that with me through my whole experience. And so, yes, I'm here to continue that tradition of good customer service. I will heed your advice.
Okay, I think we're done with the elevator speeches. We really appreciate that, and we look forward to some very productive times ahead. We have. I'm going to go on to the other agenda items, which is the other business and updates. And so, do the commissioners or staff have any other business or updates?
Do you want to hear about the meetings that we had for the like I had a city hall meeting and Commissioner Edge, I think had a comp plan meeting, right?
I do want to hear those. Yeah.
So we had a meeting number 2 for the city hall Blue Ribbon Committee, I believe, and we talked about what the SHPO standards kind of are if they were to have to sell the building, and so on and so forth. And so I get to be working with Amy Wicks, right? And that Leah, your partner in crime?
Yeah, Allison
Wicks, sorry.
Yep.
And she's a delightful person and very nice to get to know her. And Scott Stoffer's the other liaison. I work a lot with him, so I know him really well. So at any rate, it's a good group. And we are moving forward. And I think the next thing we're going to be talking about is real estate evaluation, I think is the next subject.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Edge, do you have anything to report on the CPIC front?
Yeah, we were really just had, I mean, it was our second meeting, but really just getting things started. You know, there was an opportunity to meet the consultants that are involved in the project. We discussed, you know, the work that we'll be handling over what we're calling phase 1 of the implementation project. Obviously, the comp plan is very broad reaching, and to implement all of it will take a great deal of time. And so, you know, City Council prioritized the housing, tree code, and parking code. And so there's a lot to do just in that space. And so we'll be sending this first phase of the project, working on new code amendments around those regulatory areas of the development code. And yeah, so there will be more to come. Obviously, as we, you know, we're going to have public meetings and, you know, web surveys and different opportunities for public engagement. There will be communication, you know, with the commission before those events occur. As Vera said, you know, there'll be a lot of reaching out to us to, you know, engage our networks to make sure that, you know, we're, you know, bringing people in to participate in the outreach opportunities, especially given the COVID situation. We need to, you know, do all that we can to, you know, broadly engage the community as best we can. So there will be more forthcoming. You know, we're not really getting into code details, you know, at this point. It was really the introductory meeting for the consultant, you know, to meet with the committee. So that's where we are. Vera, if she is still here, if she wanted to add anything to that, certainly can, or Commissioner Roosevelt was there as well. In case I missed anything, you could add anything, or if you have any questions, let me know.
Mm-hmm. I just thought y'all did a great job presenting Planning 101 to the group in a very succinct, understandable way. So that was great.
Thank you. It was really fun to try to figure out a 30-minute planning degree for the for the members, but for the other committee member, for the rest of the commissioners, the idea was to spend a little bit of time, Mary and I, kind of setting up how the development code works for folks that might not be as familiar with it, with the idea that the CPIC members would be more comfortable and more ready to take a look at kind of what the next part of this project is, which is the code audit, which is taking a look at our code against the policies established by the comprehensive plan related to housing, trees, and parking, as well as the requirements of House Bill 2001. So both of those documents or items are our foundation or our filter for this project. And so we want to make sure that the folks sort of understand kind of how our code works or doesn't work in that regard against those policies in the House Bill 2001. So we spent a little bit of time just trying to lay out very basically how our code is organized, how development review works, and sort of giving a preview of some of the barriers that we've always known about that we know are in conflict with the comp plan or with House Bill 2001. So I'm glad it went over okay. We had a hard time just trying to figure out how the heck to, distill that stuff down in some way that at least gives people an idea of how things work. But we'll be drowning in details pretty soon. So I'm glad we could keep it at a level that at least made a little bit of sense for folks. So thank you.
We ran it by Janine, who is the newest member of the planning team. So
yeah, and she said she learned a bunch of stuff. So great. We figured it was okay. So, but I'm glad. But yeah, thanks.
That sounds like a good idea to get everybody sort of in on the same level playing field to start. So that's probably time and effort well spent. So do the commissioners have any other items for discussion?
Chair Massey, just maybe a follow-up question on the last piece. If getting into the weeds is something that a commissioner is interested in, is it best to just show up and participate in one of those meetings as a community member? I know that Commissioner Edge is, our kind of liaison, but it sounds like Commissioner Losfeld it was just participating as an individual. Is that kind of no, not as an individual? Maybe somebody could give me a little bit of some guidance on this. Thank you.
I think we are co-conspirators in representing the Planning Commission, and maybe more specifically, I might be the runner-up to Commissioner Edge if there's a technicality there, but the two of us do serve.
Yeah, I think we were selected as me as the primary, you as the alternate, and ultimately, it's a group effort to represent the commission, and so I consider us logically partners in crime, even though we each have a differently labeled role.
I guess my question would be: would there be any issues with a third commissioner attending meetings on a periodic basis?
If I may, we can. All of the meetings are, of course, open to the public, to the public through Zoom. So, what we'll do is we'll make sure that the commissioners are aware, of the meetings and you can certainly attend, quote unquote, attend the meeting. And as a member of the public, we have the two sort of established commissioners that are on the actual CPIC committee, but we welcome all participation, as far as that goes, for sure.
Just like
I would like to interject a caveat from your city attorney that you have to be very careful that a quorum is not present at one of those meetings of the body, because your new role as a planning commissioner, you're part of a deliberative body, and a quorum is subject to public meetings laws. So you have to be very careful about stepping over the line there on any item that could come before the commission as a piece of business, which of course the subject matter of those meetings is indeed something of that nature.
So I think what I've heard from Justin is 4 is too many.
Well, what Justin just proved is that he's not lying, that he always has to ramble in our ambitions.
I know. He's the cold water deliverer is what he is.
Right?
Wasn't the word painstaking? Wasn't the word painstaking?
Yeah. But just be aware of that. I think if you suddenly go to the meeting, you see 4 familiar faces, then that's the time for somebody to drop off.
Well, three. Because if you have 4, then that makes it a.
That's what I'm saying.
If I could take that
faces show up, one needs to drop off.
If I could take that one step further, we actually have an email address that goes to all the planning commissioners, I believe. And it might be something of interest to coordinate amongst the planning commissioners who's going to be there ahead of time, so we don't put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation with 5 people showing up and then somebody having to go home and somebody being upset because somebody else wanted to stay. So maybe let your fellow commissioners know that you're planning on attending so that they can make plans accordingly.
I was going to say that's really useful, and maybe another thought would also be, Vera, to just understand kind of the CPIC process of when are things coming up from CPIC to Planning Commission or not, because some of this I could also just sit and wait for that to happen, but I think it would just be good to kind of understand a little bit more of the sequencing of the timeline and the deliverables and whether and how we're engaged.
And Jacob, just to let you know, those are playing on the city YouTube site too. So if you want to watch it afterwards, it is playing on, and they came relatively fast. That's how I knew there was a meeting, because I subscribed to the City of Milwaukee. That's how lame I am. I subscribed to the City of Milwaukee's YouTube page, and because I watch YouTube so much, that's the one that always gives me the alerts of what the things are. So that came up pretty quick, and so it's on their page. So if you want to watch it in rerun form to kind of get it, it's always there available for you. Or they're being taped, I guess is the right word to say.
So Jacob, we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next agenda item, because we're going to kind of give a little bit of a preview there of the coming attractions. So I'm going to ask the staff to give us a forecast for the future meetings. We're going to address that subject at least tangentially. Laura?
Yes. So I do not have the forecast in front of me. I apologize for that. Vera, I don't believe that the CPIC, anything is coming to the Planning Commission in the next couple of meetings, correct?
Correct.
Right.
That is correct. No.
So from what I understand, I believe the next Planning Commission, which is regularly scheduled for October 13th, is actually going to be canceled. And then we're going to be meeting on October 27th, at that point, I'll be giving an update on the year-to-date work that the Planning Commission has done, and we'll also start talking about the update to the bylaws that you all had started that conversation. So that's as far out as I know off the top of my head in this short period of time, so I apologize for that. But Vera, yeah, you want to step in and let them know kind of what the next step is for that?
Well, just so that will be part of the work session for the Planning Commission meeting on the 27th is the goals piece of it. We will have a public hearing unless something happens. We've tentatively scheduled the Waverly Woods Plan Development public hearing. The first public hearing will be on October 27th. That's a type 4 application, so we'll be going through that review process. The decision that the Planning Commission makes for that project is a recommendation to City Council. And then they will hold their hearings and make the final decision. It does assign a new zone to that property. They'll get a PD after their zone. We'll go over all of that at that point, but that's a pretty big public hearing. So you'll have at least two items on your agenda for October 27th, both a public hearing and a work session item.
And Vera, we'll get that packet of information 2 weeks in advance.
Typically the packet you'll get all the application information. Yes, you'll get that at the time of the 20-day notice, and then the staff report and all of that will get posted the week before. But yes, you'll have the application materials at the time of the 20-day notice. Yep.
Brett, did you ever think in the 15 years that you've been here in the city of Milwaukee, you're going to see 2 PDs? come across your desk?
Has not been a common application. That's for sure.
I remember amazed how you were when the first one came through.
Yeah, we had to kind of excavate through the code a little bit to try to figure out exactly how it was supposed to work, because it had a lot of dust on it.
But getting back to
It still does. Still pretty dusty. Just saying.
But getting back to Jacob's comments about, I talked to Laura the other day about developing a work program for the coming year that would be similar to what we used to develop the comprehensive plan. And I think it needs to be a synchronized work program that sort of lays out the expectations of what codes are going to be addressed by the CPIC, how long the staff would need to sort of polish those up, and when they would come to the Planning Commission, and then when we would send those to the City Council, because this is a big effort. It's not going to be done overnight, but we kind of have to hold our feet to the fire for deliverables to step through this. And so I'm very anxious to see that. I think that's, the most important thing we're going to be doing in the next year. And so I do want to see that. And I think that sounds like October 27th is going to be pretty busy already. So we may be into November, but I think that we really kind of have to, and it doesn't, and I know that things are going to change, but we have to have a plan to start working to in 2021 to get through what will be a lot of work.
Chair, if I may just add in here a little bit, we have a draft work plan for the implementation of all elements of the comp plan, but I did want to allow our new planning manager to take some ownership over that. So part of what we're doing is, as we're onboarding Laura, is getting her up to speed with where we thought we were at. We have a lot more certainty about certain items now, especially as we advance the housing, tree, and parking code work. So those are, I know, at the top of her list in terms of what we're going to be working together with now that we're fully staffed up and ready to go. I just want to say that I'm so excited about this team. You have a lot of really talented folks that understand where we're at and where we need to be. And so that's going to be a big lift. I'll work with Laura and the rest of the team to find a time on your forecaster to have a more in-depth discussion about what the next couple of years looks like in terms of that implementation. I think Vera could probably give high-level overview of what we're doing with this first phase, but our goal is to have code, adoption-ready code for you by Memorial Day. So that's what we're heading towards with the housing code work, and we can certainly share the schedule and the milestones for that. We're just kind of finalizing all of those pieces right now, and just
very good. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
So we're on point and on the same page.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So, any other issues for the forecast for future meetings? So it would have been great if we would have been able to share a Breakside IPA, but I think it was a pretty good happy hour nonetheless.
Chair Massey, before you ask to adjourn, may I do a public address announcement?
Of course.
And Justin, you don't have to mute me because I won't say anything actually political. So I just want to let you know that on October 8th at 7 p.m. Via Zoom, all 7 NDAs are going to be holding what we're going to call the candidate forum for all 6 of our candidates that are running for City Council. It will be questions that are generated from the public, so you yourselves can enter in your questions by October 3rd to your NDA chairs. Those NDA chairs will forward it on to a commission that will review the questions and then ask them of the candidates. It will be live on Channel 30 as well. That's that cable channel that Commissioner Ernst likes to watch when she had nothing better to do without cable. And it will be live on the Willamette Falls TV channel and be playing over the Milwaukee cable channel access as well. So please tune in, send your questions to your NDA leaders, and let's make it successful. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. Who needs Netflix when we have this?
where do I find the date or the information for that?
It will be listed on the city calendar, even though that the city is not responsible for this. And I can send you the information as well.
Yeah, if you send me the information, I can stream it in group too.
Okay, thank you.
Any last calls for comments, questions? Again, thank everyone. I think this was a somewhat untraditional meeting, but I think a useful meeting as well. So I appreciate everyone's participation. At this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Several seconds. Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Nice
Nice to
meeting
meet
you
you
all.
all.
Night, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Take care.
Bye.